So let's get into the first story I actually want to discuss, even though we're going to dive so deep into all this Batman stuff because there's tons of it. But the first thing is actually this report that came out today about Gwyneth Paltrow, who's now said to be in talks returning to the MCU as the Pepper of the Potts. That's right. Apparently Blink 82 is coming back too. That's great. Okay. So though we're not sure which project she'll appear in, Gwyneth Paltrow is now rumored to be in talks to reprise her role as Pepper Potts in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. One would assume Spider-Man. We haven't seen Paltrow as Potts since her emotional final scene in Endgame, but it sounds like Marvel Studios is planning to bring Tony Stark's widow back to the MCU. According to My Time to Shine Hello, Paltrow is now in talks to reprise her role for an upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe project. Either Doomsday or Secret Wars, or both, are the most likely possibilities, but there's a chance that Pepper could show up in an upcoming Disney Plus series. Paltrow debuted as Tony Stark's love interest in Pepper Potts in the first Iron Man movie and has since made several notable Marvel Cinematic Universe appearances, ultimately getting the chance to suit up and rescue in Endgame. Despite donning armor of her own and getting more screen time than she had in a lot of her previous MCU movies, Paltrow recently revealed that she still hasn't watched the movie. To be honest, I stopped watching them at some point. I've never seen Endgame. I can't keep track of who's what, but I probably should at some point. As for why she gradually became disillusioned with the MCU, Paltrow feels that the franchise hasn't been the same for a while, suggesting the movies gradually lost their independent feel as they went on. She said that the first film that we did was very different from the rest because the studio didn't think it was going to be a big hit. They hired Favreau to direct, who was great, and they hired Robert Downey Jr., who was unhireable at the time. His career was at a very low point. We improvised almost every scene of that movie. The actress continued. We would write scenes in the morning in John's trailer. It was like doing an independent film. And the movie was such a huge hit that we didn't make them like that anymore. Paltrow has previously indicated that she wouldn't have much interest in returning as Potts, especially if Downey Jr. Stark isn't involved. And then a big truck of money landed in her backyard, and she said, okay. Oh my God, stop yelling at me, she jokingly responded when asked why she stopped playing Pepper during a recent Q&A. We just stopped doing it because Iron Man died. And what do you need Pepper? Why do you need Potts without Iron Man? I don't know. Call up Marvel and yell at them. Not me. I'm just sitting here. Paltrow does raise a good point. Does the MCU need Pepper without Stark, especially with Riri Williams Ironheart in line to take up the mantle of the next Armored Avenger? Okay, so there's a lot there because, one could say, well, she said she wouldn't return without Downey, but Downey is returning. But I can't even talk about this yet. I'll tell you why. I do have energy. I'm not going to lie to you. I do. But I'll tell you, I want to get that magic mind. I know that we all got it. I know we're ready because it really is. And Coy, I love getting texts from you on vacation on why you love Magic Mind so much. I love it.
I off camera love and adore. And the sleep one has markedly helped my life.
It really does. It's got for people who don't know, it's energy, but it's clean and it doesn't give you the jitters and it keeps you focused. It really does work, especially if you're like moving, and you have so much thing to do. I know Winston for sure. Like you got the audition coming up, and it's perfect time to.
That's actually why I'm really happy that we're doing this right now. It kicks in pretty quickly, but like I've got a big thing going on immediately after this, and that's what I need. I just need to be able to be sharp, and this Magic Mind don't miss.
And Magic Mind, you can get that coat KH20. It's the first thing you see in the description. Make sure you check out Magic Mind. They're wonderful. Okay, scooting over, we're gonna talk about this possible return of Pepper Potts. Coy, as I was saying, she said, it doesn't make sense without Downey. Downey is returning, obviously, as Doom. Is there a scenario where she sees his face and she just can't handle it? Is it Doomsday that she comes back? Is it Secret Wars? Is it Spider-Man? What do you think about this?
I could see it being used as a Secret Wars moment. I feel like they're going to really need to load up that movie with every cameo. The expectations for cameos as well as supporting roles is heavy, but so many of these roles I think are going to be supporting roles. So what's going to be the build on top of that? So I think in addition to Secret Wars, Ironheart would be a cool place. I don't think she's in Ironheart, but I think the moments in Ironheart set up an opportunity to have like a mentor role, because she's the CEO of Stark Industries. Like there's an important role for Pepper Potts in the universe, and whether or not that interacts with Downey or not will be, a fan moment to be seen. But I think there's a potential. It is my biggest thing out of this quote is I was thinking about how much we're excited for Thunderbolts, and I've been thinking about how much we've been talking about the A24 elements and which cast members are in it. And then I was thinking like, man, it feels like Iron Man, Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, this Thunderbolts movie all the ones that have that indie sensibility. Winter Soldier is the furthest from that, but even in that movie, the gritty choices and the against studio tradition kind of mode that movie operates in, all those are my favorite MCU films. So it is interesting to hear her directly talk about the studio system kind of taking over everything and it getting messy. The most studio of them that I love is No Way Home. But I think that was a lot of different lessons learned. But I think all of the best Marvel films through all the phases are the ones that feel more independent.
Yeah, I think, Winston, it's interesting she made those points because some of her points were very interesting. I mean, look, there's tons of actors that don't watch the stuff that they're in. Katie Sackhoff has never watched Battlestar Galactica. I mean, she talks about it all the time, right? She's never seen it. So
maybe I'm just really vain.
there's tons of people who do watch it also, man. There's a lot that don't. But she gave her reasoning as far as why. And the initial reason of, look, without Tony, what is she doing there? I think she could show up and do stuff for the kid, for Spider-Man. Sure, she could have maybe helped out Anthony Mackie and Falcon and Winter Soldier, give him a couple bucks for his boat. But either way, it makes sense what she was saying. What doesn't make sense all the way, although I understand where she's coming from, when she says, okay, look, that first movie was like an independent film, all that stuff makes sense. Like, yes, we know the stories that Downey was not they were worried about him and that he was going to fall off again and all that stuff. And and we've heard the stories about them writing stuff on the scenes and all that. So they validated all that. But afterwards, you're like, well, they stopped being that afterwards. Well, yeah, because it became a hit. It's like, oh, of course, that's kind of how it works. You can't do that with everyone, because the other reason why you can't do that is you don't have Favreau and Downey Paltrow on the same and every movie. I've been around many people who improv ideas, and you go, please don't do that again. Like, even with Schmodown, I remember some of the ideas that some people would pitch ideas. I'm like, that's brilliant. Yes, absolutely say that. And then I had someone pitch a team name, and the team name was Pants Optional for a team name.
I mean,
do you understand? I mean, I joke about it all the time with like with Marisol McKee and Adam Collins. We want to call ourselves the Howls of Justice. Sounds like a bad 1930s movie. And now, coming out of theaters, the Howls of Justice. I was like, but you get people who are suggesting stuff all the time. You can't do that in every movie. You just can't. Not especially when things are a success. So, Winston, you hear all these comments about that in general. I want to hear your thoughts on that, but then couple that with, should she return in the next movie?
I mean, I hear some of what she's saying about if you don't have Tony, why would you have Pepper? But my immediate counter to that is, okay, so then why was Happy around? You like Happy, you would make the argument that Pepper is technically more important than Happy in the sense that she is the CEO of Stark Industries, as we mentioned. So that's actually a little more poignant than the fact that, oh, Happy was sticking it to May. Because then even on top of that, then May dies and you still brought him in for Deadpool. So like that's where I start to go, I see what you're trying to say, but we've already proven that that's not a thing. So that's the first part. The second part, I do think she would be a good mentor, if not for Peter at this particular juncture, for Riri, in the fact that she's not only the CEO of Stark Industries, she's also an armored Avenger herself.
It gives a good connection. It does give a good connection there.
Yeah.
Too.
So then on top of that, especially if you can't lean on Rhodey, because Rhodey apparently is a Skrull or was a Skrull and doesn't even know where he is now, then then it would make sense to lean towards her, especially if you're not also going to have her go talk to Shuri or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's I think that would be a smart play. She's always brought like a unique element to it as well. And I agree with Coy that once we get to Secret Wars, I think she'll probably show up in Doomsday. And I think where it's going to show up specifically is you're going to end up in a situation where, again, I don't think this is evil Tony Stark. I think Victor Von Doom, from whatever universe he's from, looks like Tony and realizes he looks like Tony and uses it to his advantage to gain power. So I think that would be an interesting element to have Pepper, maybe even their daughter, be like, oh shit, and he's just playing it up to get what he wants. I think that would actually be a very interesting emotional pull at the heartstrings to do that.
Yeah, and they could very well do that. depending on how the story all fits together. And the fact that the Russos are going to be there, Downey's going to return. If they want her, they'll probably be able to get her. Right, if it fits in, even if it's only like a scene like she did in like you said, Coy, in the Spider-Man movie. So, all right. Well, what do you guys think? Should Gwyneth Paltrow return? Does it matter? Should Pepper Potts make an appearance to really tie it all together? Will it feel like that classic, Marvel Phase 1 through 3 tone? What do you think? Put your thoughts in there. Got to know.